Greetings, African people. Today I'm here to deal with the question of what prevents Black people from gaining freedom and true economic power. It's a question that is thrown out to us all the time, and you hear intellectuals in our community have all kinds of solution for the problem that we have as Black people. But I'm going to do some shout out to three individuals who I've had conversations back and forth, and oftentimes I usually agree with these gentlemen. I think it was, yeah, 5% or seven who left me this message, and he said, Miss Anna got her first wake up call. These politicians think they can sell out our resources and go hide in their gated communities, giving away the wealth of the next generation while building more prison for our own. And we had a brief conversation, and I told him that I really wanted to talk a little bit on this topic. I didn't think it was going to be so soon. But last night I had an encounter with somebody, and it forced this conversation. Also, King Sir the Boss said or says collective economics should be the foundation of Pan-Africanism, but most of us are distracted, wasting time and energy by marching around to be affirmed and giving freedom and shallow rights by our oppressors. Also, in fighting over here, colorism, male-female relationships or relations, he said, which white people they voted for, who's a coon, conscience or crazy, true Black revolutionary or spiritual identity. Although these issues need to be addressed, it is delaying and has become more important than the economic process to lift our people towards true freedom. Listen now, King Sir the Boss, everything you said resonated with me. Every aspect of what you're saying, that how all these things are distracting us, causing us to waste our time and our energy from doing the real thing. Because most of the time, when you hear Black persons coming out here and crying freedom and saying that they don't want freedom, they don't want freedom. What they want is acceptance. And so you say these shallow rights that are often given to Black people, the reason why it's accepted by them is because they didn't want true freedom. They didn't want to be separate and be a group that is cohesive. They just want to join with individuals who actually hate their guts. And I can't blame these individuals for hating them, because when you treat a dog terribly, you keep kicking it, it's not going to run behind you, it's going to go away. And so I'm sorry, I'm not referring to Black people as dogs, but I'm just saying the way we accept abuse, the way we have learned how to, accept others demoralizing us, and if we say we're coming up and we're going to protest, which protestations doesn't work anymore, because the motive behind those protests is really for a singular interest to gain acceptance and not to get true freedom or true independence or to have economic power. So they come with these arguments, these ridiculous arguments, as you said, rightfully so, that this one is a coon and this one is not a coon. And in order for you to be considered as Black or part of the struggle, you have to have dark skin. When we all know the whole one drop, theory. We battle about who have good hair and who have bad hair, who qualify as Black person and who shouldn't be considered as Black person. Sometimes when we see person who is biracial come out and say something is strong enough and brave enough to come out and stay in the face of systematic racism and call it by its name, you have a gang bang of Black people running around and say that person shouldn't speak. Sometimes I feel like saying, shut the hell up. The only thing that person is doing is putting you to shame, because you're still acting like slave and still, buck dancing for Bakramasa. So we are delaying our own progress. We are getting tied up with semantics, fighting righteous and unrighteous wars that has nothing to do with true freedom. As you say, these issues need to be addressed, but it's delaying and it becomes more important than the economic process. They're not trying to get economic progress or progression as a group. So you see a lot of these Black leaders that come front and center. When you see them, they're buck dancing for these individuals who they claim they're protesting against or reaching out, begging to accept them. Sorry. Michael Roberts also engages me a lot, and I really, we can have these debates and disagree, and sometimes come to the point where we agree to disagree. But for the most part, I agree with Roberts' rhetoric. He says, I totally agree that Black people went under more than any other race. But what I am saying, for people who once ruled the world, what led to our downfall? For a people so great, how are we brought so low? If you look at what took place through the centuries, you would find that Black people are not the only race to be meted with injustice. The Jews went through a bitter period and were driven from their land. Look at the wars fought. It was not only against Black. Look at the suffering in India and China and in the Middle East. Yes, there are lots of sadness and hardship among us as Black people. But let's say this, we need to find the courage, the strength, and the wisdom as a people to reclaim our rights in society. But if there is no unity, what can we achieve? Now, I remember you saying this yesterday, Michael, and in the night, I had an experience that really affected me. And this is precisely one of the reasons why we can't get along as Black people. We've got no unity. Now, to answer my own question, I'm going to break it down in 5 sections, and I'm going to try to keep this brief as I can. It's already 6 minutes, so let's see how this goes. But my question is, what prevents Black people from gaining true freedom and economic power? And these are not listed in any order of priority, but the first one, fear to take risk. Most of us have jobs or in careers that we hate for one reason or the other, without getting into all that detail today. We hate it. There's something else that we're very good at. Some of us have skills. Some of us are pressured in society to say, in order to be considered important or special, you have to be in this career. That is a mark of success. But that's not what you want to do. So you end up doing a job, even though it might be paying you good money, you're not happy, but you refuse to leave that job because of the prestige that is associated with it. Or the fear that, okay, if I leave this job, will I ever find another one? So we lack confidence in ourselves. Fear to take risk. Most persons who have done very well in this world, doesn't matter what race, they've had to take risk. And oftentimes people don't believe in their dreams. They've got no one to share it with. In our community, a lot of us are dream killers. So when people come to us with ideas, our dreams is just an idea. And before we give them a chance to even mull over it and to think about it, we start telling them why it won't work. And, negatives. We have a lot of those in our community. Selfishness. For example, sharing our resources. I'm at a workplace or I'm going to a school and I see there's an opportunity for a brother or sister, family member or not to, gain something, and I will not tell. When I work in companies where there are a few Chinese, after a while, it's filled with Chinese people. If I work somewhere, there's Indian people. When the job opportunities come up, those, before you know it, there's mostly Indian persons working there. Same thing with the Filipino community, but not us. Your Black friend will know that there's an opportunity and will not tell you about it. We are so selfish. Now, let me give you a more personal example. My daughter just graduated from university with her degree. Brilliant. She's a brilliant person. From the time she was in high school, I told her, your full-time job is school. I didn't allow her to work when she was in high school, and some person might disagree with me, but I felt that was my, cushion for her. I provided for all her needs, took care of all that she needed to keep her as a good student. I said, no work, you will study, you will pay attention, that is your full-time job. And she maintained honor roll in high school. And when she was going off to university, she had a few scholarships. She took one that's closer to home, and that didn't provide her with 100% scholarship, but that was her decision to make. She went off and she maintained that honor roll status, graduating from university with 35 A's. 36 A's and 4 B's. Now, that's excellent. Now that she's finished and she's not finished with her studies, she's taking a break because she has plans to go on and do more graduate work. And a family member of hers told her that when she was finished to send her resume, and she did. And when she sent the resume to her, she got a phone call last night or a text message or whatever, asking if she could come and babysit that family member's children. Of course, when my daughter came to me and she approached me with what this lady said to her, I was livid because I thought to myself, it's not that it's beneath anybody to be a babysitter, but that's not why I sent my daughter to school. And if you're a family member and you're saying that your workplace is always hiring, keep in mind this individual, she is working at that place, but she's working towards the same qualification that my daughter has. And because she's working, she's not able to go to school full time. So it's taking her forever to get this degree. And my daughter is finished and she's inviting her to come to her house to take care of her kids. I don't need to tell you how that went down with me, but that made me realize this is one of the reasons why we can't get along. We can't get ahead. We have no love for each other. And we just want to be the ones to rise up and stomp up on other person's head and use our own people. Selfishness or lack of sharing our resources, ideas, and so on and so forth prevents us from moving ahead and becoming as powerful as we can be. Every other group understand the power dynamics with sharing and growing and keeping the wealth in the family. The next thing is, of course, we know we're not the ones who own the means of production for the most part. And so when we need to start, for example, businesses, we're going to have a very difficult time securing a loan. But that's systematic racism that holds us back. And it's not that we can't do anything about it. But if we did not have fear and was able to take risk and believing investing in each other, sharing our resources, we wouldn't have to worry about the fact that we're not getting these loans because we would have our own structure, we would have our own banks, we would have our own organizations that would be willing to invest in us. Equity, passed down. So we're all born, and I'm not saying all Black people, but a lot of Black people around the world are born with the struggle, already knowing that in order for you to achieve certain things, you're going to have to work hard. And we all know how that is about working hard, because it's not about working hard, it's about working smart, about making the right choices, about investing in the right things, and so on and so forth. But one of the biggest things that prevent us from moving ahead and becoming powerful is denial. This illusion that we are more powerful than we really are. It's called the illusion of inclusion. I keep saying that. So because somebody's not running us down and tying us with a rope or coming blatantly and calling us a Negro or calling us the N-word, we think that we've come very far and that things have changed, and it have not changed, not much anyway, because what we need to make things change is our collective efforts, and we're not doing that. We're not collectively coming together to do what we need to do to gain power. Jealousy and envy and covetousness rules. And as soon as we see one Black person, emerging as someone who could become powerful, sometimes those who are below them become very negative and start saying that these individuals are evil and they're doing witchcraft and they're doing all kind of nonsensical things and ideas we have. And some who have made it to the top, using whichever method, taking those risks, wanting more for themselves, those individuals oftentimes do not want to bring anybody with them. They don't want to bring anyone with them. I was outraged that this individual was in a position where my daughter could send her resume. Remember, she's not asking her for money. She's not asking for a job. Imagine if that was her company. She was just asking her to pass her resume to somebody in our place of work. And what she did, her solution to my daughter's request, was to come and watch her children. And this is not some distant cousin. This is our aunt. This is her biological father's sister. Disgusting. This is why we can't get along. This is why we're not getting ahead, because our jealousy and our enviousness and our bad mind, as they say in my culture, prevents us from doing the things that we need to do to come together as a collective. I also wanted to read this note to you and to say that while we're busy chewing each other up, other persons are sticking to their resolve. Recently, I did a video about China taking control of Jamaica, and someone tagged me. Someone sent me a friend request from Jamaica North-South Highway. Somehow they must have watched my video, and the individual who sent me this wants to reassure me that there's nothing to worry about. But I'm going to read this to you, and you tell me what you think. Because what they're trying to do is saying what you're saying in your video really has nothing to do with who we are. And we're going to set you clear on that. But there's some comments here, or some statements here, that make it, or confirm to me at least, that I know what I'm talking about, and it will never change. You can't expect somebody else to come and fix you or fix your community. You start trying to fix yourself by first coming to understand how fear affects you, how selfishness affects the way you live, and how it affects other persons, how, we don't have the economic power that we ought to have, and how we really ought to start having this mindset where we're not just bringing children into the world for the sake of just bringing children in the world, but unless we're able to pass equity, true wealth down to our children. And when we talk about wealth, we're not talking about money, but true wealth, not material possession, not clothing, not a car, not things that depreciate the moment you get it. True wealth. I feel ashamed that I don't have things to pass down to my children because nobody taught me that. And now I'm trying to teach them the importance of that. But I'm not in denial anymore. There's no illusion of inclusion for me because I'm 50 years old and I've had enough, at least 25 years, to see how this really works. So it doesn't matter how someone pretty up the story, no matter how they paint it beautiful, I know the truth. And I'm knowing that I'm not expecting anybody to rescue me and to save me. I'm not turning to person to say, why won't you accept me? I'm not turning to individuals to say, look at me, look at I'm over here, acknowledge me. That's never going to happen. And for the Black persons who feel like, let's not say anything, let's be quiet, because if we're quiet, we won't be affected. Nobody will come to us. Nobody will bother us. You're lying to yourselves. We're all affected, and it's only going to get worse because we live in a country and a world, our community, or, a street or whatever, that individuals are always going to be there who want to make sure that you stay in your place. There are going to be others who want to support you, but those who want to support you are far less than those who want to see you come up and out. There's always a constant reminder of your past, of you being a slave. You can't hear about Black people without hearing about slavery, as if slavery is what defines who we are, as if we didn't have any history prior to slavery. Can I take a day off from talking about these things, these negative things? Because some of you Black people, you consider these kind of talks as negative. When they kill your son, and when they kill your daughter, and when they take away opportunities from you, when you lose your job, that's when you expect other persons to come out and cry with you. But it's not going to happen. You're going to get it. It's going to affect you. And when it affects you, nobody cares because you were busy being quiet. I'm not saying go out and march and make noise. That is ridiculous. But when somebody talks about issues of how we can come together as a community and share our wealth and understand our position, how we are seen by every group in the world, if we are able to come together and at least acknowledge that there's inequality in the world and that it affects us, and that those who talk about it have all right to talk about it without having to hear you talk that what is happening with them is just in their mind and how they need to pull up their shoes and move ahead. This Jamaica North-South Highway, people said, the management of the Jamaica North-South Highway wishes to take the opportunity to sensitize our valued customers about our upcoming promotional plan. So this was intending to set me straight about what I'm saying, but it starts out with the need to get something from Black people, as well as to bring clarity to a few understanding as it concerns our operations. We are committed to gracious and selfless service to our valued customers because we have never lost sight of the fact that we are here to serve you at the highest standard. It gives us a thrill to see a smile on the faces of our valued customers. As part of our commitment to excellent customer service, we will launch our special e-pass promotion plan very soon. So the person is trying to clear up misunderstanding, but here they are trying to sell something to us. It continues to say, during this promotion, you as our valued customer will receive a discount every time you use the toll road spanning from Caymanas to Miami Bay. You should purchase your e-pass to access your discount at any of the sales offices at the Caymanas and Angels and Miami Bay Toll Plaza. And it goes on and on and on and telling you that how, you know, when you use the South Highway cashless system, it results in you saving money, and how the manual toll collection system will cause delay and the process of payment exceeding the allotted processing, blah, 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 blah. I'm not even going to read the rest of this. Pretty much the person is trying to say, well, we're doing this because this is a reason why we do it. But all of the reasons why they're doing what they do has nothing to do with Black people in Jamaica. It has to do for the betterment of their own pocket. And the thing is, they're not apologizing for it. This person is reiterating on their website all the reasons why they have to have the toll system the way it is. Higher price than any place in the world, as far as I'm concerned. When individuals are paying $1 something to go through toll, or $10 for a trip or something, people are paying thousands of dollars in Jamaica. But who causes this? Our governments who lack vision, and who are very much still tied to a colonial system that wishes to keep them in poverty. These political leaders are individuals who do not value their people. They grew up in a country where they see the elites prosper, and you know, they saw how poor people got stomped upon, and they promised that they would be doing better, and they did not. They did not do better. Our countries, our Black communities around the world are not grown from strength to strength because of 5 things that I've listed here: fear to take risk, selfishness, loan denial, not having equity passed on to our children, and denial that our situation is what it is, and having this big fat illusion that we are included in the rhetoric and conversations about other people's community and other people's race. I can't remember the last time I saw something that was introduced that I knew was beneficial to Black people. It was always a trickle-down effect. We are doing this for us, but if you get some, it's okay. And when Black persons come out, when you see the Black face come out, and it appears as if they have, you know, true strength, they have, you know, the ability to come and make changes, they really don't. They're oftentimes being used to promote another person's interest, another group's, you know, well-being. We have no true freedom, not because other persons deny us those true freedoms, but because we refuse to come together as a people, refuse to let go of the petty quarrels and, you know, the selfishness. My daughter is not babysitting for her. She might babysit for someone else, but not her. Because if she's family member and she doesn't want the best for my daughter, then obviously she's not the person she ought to be around. So you have to pick your family, pick your friends. You know, you say you can't pick your family. Yeah, you can. And if the individual is not promoting your interests, if the person doesn't mean the best for you, if it means you have to go on your own, if you have to keep your ideas to yourself, because some people you cannot even share your ideas with them because you're so negative. And if individuals want to live, or Black people want to live and pretend that this is a big, wonderful world and we should just hold hands and sing Kumbaya, well, blessings to them. But I don't live in that world anymore. I see all that's happening, and I always see where the Black man is always expected to kiss some derriere and stay quiet and not complain. And that still doesn't change their condition. Be blessed, African people. Think on these things.